Well, spring fishing is finally here and it is roaring. So I'll jump right into this week. Took my Sage 790-4 out, coupled with my Cortland Big Fly in a 7-weight. 12-foot 1X tapered leader with 4 pounds, or 4 feet of 10-pound fluoro, tippet on it. And then the 2 flies I used were Carp Maul in various weights, and then a BS semi-seal leech in with a bead chain. So a lot of tailing fish out there this week. This is just coming in pre-spawn. So this first shot right here had a couple tailers. You can kind of see the cloud there where he's sitting in. Cast past him to do the drag and drop, pull it over, dropped it right in front of him. You'll see it come in right there in front of him. He turns to the side there and eats it. If you can place the fly a little bit to the side of the head, number one, they can't see directly in front of them very well. So ideally, you don't want to put it in front of them. I do that way more than I should. But you try to push it to the side just a little bit. Then it becomes more obvious when they turn to take. Also, if they hit it when they've turned to the side, when you set the hook, you have a better angle on them. So anyway, it was a good drag and drop. And then I dropped it to the side, worked out really well. So huge fish here. This guy in the back coming along with these 3. So I cast out and I kind of led them, but I kind of figured they were going to go down into this little trough right in front of me. I led it and pulled it over and dropped it down. There's a little bit of skill to this, but a lot of luck. I mean, I was trying to get the back one, the big one, but a lot of times the little ones will jump out in front and take it. So yeah, that worked out just absolutely awesome. And this one I think ended up going 17 pounds. Great big female. So yeah, I was stoked. Yeah, anytime you get a fish that big on a fly rod, it's just a lot of fun. Not a lot of places where she could run. So, I mean, she didn't take me on any big long runs, but like this, she ends up diving under some of this cover and then dropping back down in the trough. And it was still probably a 5 or 6 minute fight to finally be able to land her. No long blistering runs, but she was a really strong fish. Gave me a heck of a fight. So this is more pretty stereotypical pre-spawn activity. You can see these two, their mouth are both opening. You know, that's not spawning what they're doing there. But this is all kind of pre-spawn activity. They become really aggressive during the spawn. So they were there eating and, I don't know, flirting. And then one of them moved forward here. Is actually the smaller of the two, likely the little male. But you see he comes over and he eats it right there. Not a big difference between either of them, and still roughly a 10-pound fish, so awesome. But this is awesome because it's super skinny water. You mean you can see, you know, right there where its head was on the bottom and its body's out of the water. This is like 7 or 8 inches deep. You can see also on my ankles there, I mean, how shallow this is right here. Yeah, again, probably just under 10 pound. But good fish, and it's awesome when it's that skinny. It's hard, but a lot of fun. This one's another Tailor, and so the first shot I took at him, he kind of turned the opposite direction, so when I brought it over, he didn't see it. So I'm making another cast here to do a drag and drop. But one thing I want you to notice here is that on a typical drag and drop, the most you can cast to them is 30 feet. And not that this is like a lot further, but it's probably 45 feet. This is part of the reason why I like to use longer leaders. So a short leader, like a 9-foot leader, is pretty effective for the inside 30 feet. In fact, it's probably slightly more if you execute your drag and drop perfectly, and it gives you a little bit more control. But anything outside of that, your fly line's going to hit the water. You can still execute a drag and drop when it's outside of 30 feet, letting the fly line hit the water and then bringing it over. And I do that a ton. So it makes it so that I can go after fish that are further out. Now, I will tell you that the majority of fish, again, this right here is still more than 30 feet. The majority of fish that I go after are, it's not much more, but are going to be more than or inside that 30 feet. It just, having that long leader And again, typically I'm using 14 to 18 feet. It just allows you to do longer drag and drops, right? This is a shorter drag and drop. And that one comes over and eats there. So yeah, it opens up different options for how you can perform the drag and drop rather than being stuck at that very short length. So that is why I do or use a longer leader. You might have noticed that I've had several that have popped off. Didn't actually break any of these off, but I have another video I'm editing where I ended up busting off 3 on 10 plus pound fish, the 10 pound fluoro. So these guys will bust it, but these are just, throwing the fly. I don't know how well I've got them hooked. That one really was a good angle, so I'm not sure why, but anyway, this is another really skinny water situation. Drag and drop over and drop it in right there. See him turn just a little bit and then sucks it in. And I don't know, you guys, that's the best because I could see the fly there. In some of these, I'm just watching for the body language of the fish. But I mean, that one was just awesome because I could see the fly. And that kind of shallow water is a really good area where you can kind of just do lead and twitch. I still end up kind of doing drag and drop into a lead and twitch type situation. And that's kind of what I did there. So I brought the fly over and then kind of left it in front of him, and then twitch just a tiny bit as he gets close to make sure it gets his attention and watch for the eat. Yeah, so good fish here. That one was over 10 pounds in super skinny water. And then there's the carp maul. I said I primarily use the carp maul. So here's another, kind of 2 flirty fish here. Again, this is really skinny water. You can definitely see them eating a little bit, but they're staying real close. So the one on the left there is the big female. And trying to decide which one you're going to get. You don't have a lot of choice here, right? It'll be whichever one actually comes over and eats it. Fortunately for me in this situation, it was the bigger fish, the big female. And usually in those pairs that you see out there like that, it usually will be a male and a female. And the female is typically the bigger fish. Not always, but the majority of the time, the female will be the bigger fish. So no picture of that one. I got her all the way in, and then she got off. Another tailing fish here. Lots and lots of tailers on this trip, eating big time, prepping for the spawn. This is a really cool. So I cast to the left of him on a drag and drop, so it's not directly over the fish, and that's something that can make it better. So he tries to eat it once there, and he doesn't get it. I pulled it out of his mouth, so you'll see it come in right here, and I cast to the left, I drag it over to the right, so he ate right there. I set the hook, and I missed it. I immediately recast, and then pulled it forward just a little bit for another drag and drop. And I've mentioned that before. Sometimes you will get that. You'll get 2 chances. It's usually got to be really quick. I mean, if I didn't get the fly immediately back down there, it's pretty likely that fish would have spooked. But because I got it back in there so fast, the fish immediately hit it again. Took me on a blistering run, 100 feet out across this. And this fight ended up being 7 or 8 minutes to get this fish in. And I ended up having to hike over towards it. Went and got itself a little bit wrapped right here. I didn't have to get all the way to it before it came out, but I did have to kind of hike over there to try to get it out. And part of the fun of these guys, just unbelievable how long they can fight. And it's kind of a unique picture of the release, but you can see how big that fish is. That one was over 10 pounds as well. And then I let her go back, and hopefully she found her male again. And they're making some babies as we speak. So that's it for this week. I appreciate it, guys, and I'll have some more cool content coming out soon.